In 2021, the U.S. military budget crossed $800 billion more than the next 9 largest militaries combined. America has the most expensive war machines like its latest aircraft carrier at $133 billion. The USS Ford, commissioned 5 years ago, is still not fully battle-ready. The $17 trillion F-35 fighter program faces issues like recently grounded fleets for broken ejection seats. Some U.S. tech is in Ukraine, like Javelin missiles, howitzers, and Switchblade drones. The true cost of new war tech could reach trillions. These 4,000-pound underwater bombs are part of tests before the Navy's largest carrier is combat-ready. The USS Gerald R. Ford is first in a new class with more firepower and smaller crew. It was designed to save billions over 50 years, but cost double the last carrier, and faced delays and unexpected costs. Even unclogging toilets costs $4,000,000. We went aboard to find why it can't deploy decades after plans began. Sailors move ordnance on new weapons elevators, allowing secure independent movement from storage to flight deck, bypassing crew areas. This is the only way to rearm planes on the Ford. Other carriers move weapons more dangerously through hangars. There are 11 elevators, the last certified in December 2021. These elevators are among nearly 24 new technologies, making the Ford cutting edge and a big experiment. Retired Navy Captain Tal Manville, first project manager for this class, said the ship faced multiple delays, pushing its cost from $64 to $10 billion. The Ford is first of 4 new carriers. The Navy plans to replace the entire supercarrier fleet with Ford's U.S. law requires 11 carriers, but delays have left 10. Of 22 global carriers, half are American. This class could serve into the 22nd century. Over 5,000 shipbuilders worked 49 million hours, 7 times the Empire State Building. Admiral Mike Gilday said it was a mistake to introduce so many new technologies at once on a complex platform. Ships are unique as the prototype goes to war. The ship was christened in 2013 and accepted in 2017 without everything working to meet budget. 4 years later, final tests continued before first full deployment. Pilots can take off and land, but problems remain before combat readiness delays and fixes made every new technology over budget. Revolutionary changes include the electromagnetic aircraft launch system replacing steam catapults. Research and design cost over $1 billion. Installation was double estimates. The new system has fewer moving parts, meaning fewer sailors, and less stress on planes, allowing more aircraft types including future drones and F-35S, though a retrofit is needed for F-35S at added cost. The computerized system allows smoother takeoffs and landings for varied aircraft weights, improving safety and aircraft longevity. However, politics over 5 presidencies contributed to delays and cost overruns. The true cost is $133 billion. Even basic functions are expensive, with 750 vacuum toilets, where one clog can require a $4,000,000 acid flush. The Navy now tests systems like advanced weapons elevators on land first, but this benefits future carriers, not the Ford. As a deterrent, the Ford's value may be in preventing wars rather than fighting them. The U.S. expects to spend $17 trillion on the F-35 Lightning II 2022, marks 16 years since its first flight, but high costs may reduce planned purchases of nearly 2,000 jets. Operating costs are high at $3,500 per flight hour, compared to $2,200 for an F-16. We went to Hill Air Force Base to see this biggest weapons program. Captain Spencer Whitey, call sign Ghost, flies one of 78 F-35S there. He says the F-35 is a game-changer for its stealth sensors and fusion suite, making tactical flying easier. Nearly 500 F-35S serve in the U.S. military, conducting strikes against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. Ghost says it's the plane he wants for war. Despite success, the F-35 faces criticism. Its total life cycle cost through 2070 could hit $17 trillion, equivalent to U.S. student debt. Buying the planes costs $400 billion, with sustainment adding up. Lockheed Martin acknowledges work is needed to lower costs. The program began in 2001 to build a jet for Air Force, Navy, and Marines, requiring 3 models, ABC, due to different needs. This increased complexity and cost. The Marine B model needed vertical landing, the Navy C model needed carrier operations, and the Air Force A model replaced older jets. Designs share only about a third common parts, less than the planned 75 production started before testing was complete, integrating immature technologies causing delays. By October 2022, Lockheed delivered over 550 F-35s to the U.S. with plans for 2,000 more and over 200 to other governments. But full-rate production is delayed with over 600 known problems, mainly software and hardware. Maintenance costs rose 15 from 2018 to 2021 to over $400 billion lifetime. The F-35 is a flying computer with 8 million lines of code plus 16 million for diagnostics. Its self-diagnosing ability saves maintenance time. The $400,000 helmet provides combined displays and night vision. Stealth design absorbs radar and hides heat signature, giving pilots superior awareness. However, high costs may lead to reduced purchases. The Air Force may not reach its goal of 1763 jets, likely settling for 1001200, needing legacy fighters to support. With less than a third of planes built, the $17 trillion estimate is an educated guess. In Ukraine, both sides use lethal drones. Some are sophisticated, others adapted to drop grenades. Some operate autonomously, making life-death decisions without human input. This raises concerns about tech failures or misuse. The war accelerates move toward autonomous weapons, but are we ready for killer robots? Loitering munitions like the Switchblade can fly, wait for a target, and crash to destroy. It's a drone artillery hybrid. John Aldana of AeroVironment shows the Switchblade 300 for small targets and 600 for armored vehicles. They fold into launch tubes, then deploy. Operators can control from 40 kilometers away and cancel missions last minute. The U.S. sent 700 to Ukraine in 2022. Each 300 costs about $6,000 for single-use, cheaper than reusable drones. Like the MQ-9 Reaper, autonomous drones use AI for tracking moving targets, keeping humans in the loop but reducing human error, which has caused civilian casualties. In 2021, a U.S. Reaper drone mistakenly killed 10 civilians in Kabul. AI systems can also air. Ukraine is a high-profile drone conflict. But experiments began over a century ago with the Kettering bug in Walidawan. Drones became prominent in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 2020, Azerbaijan used Israeli loitering drones effectively. In Ukraine, drones provided cheap air power against Russian forces, like striking the convoy near Kiev. Civilian engineers adapted off-shelf drones for grenade drops, making drones symbols of resistance. But Russia adapted defenses, neutralizing some drone advantages. Militaries continue innovating with submersible drones, swarms, and palm-sized surveillance drones. Deploying drones is cheaper and safer for pilots, but remote operators can suffer PTSD like frontline troops. The next phase is autonomous target identification and engagement, raising ethical questions. In 2020, a Turkish Kargu-2 drone may have autonomously attacked in Libya, blurring lines between autonomous and semi-autonomous. The risk of AI targeting errors, causing civilian casualties or escalating conflict, is serious. AI recognition can fail in changing conditions, as seen in self-driving car crashes. Without international consensus on regulating autonomous weapons, AI warfare may be inevitable. The UN Secretary General called for a ban on lethal autonomous weapons. Public concern is legitimate. AeroVironment CEO Wahid Nawabi, growing up in Afghanistan during Soviet invasion, understands war firsthand. The Ukraine war pushes engagement boundaries, questioning whether human cruelty or machine fallibility is worse.